Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkeys Outdoors and Stone Creek Hound Supply. Be sure to check them out for all your hound hunting needs. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game.
I gave one guy a pup a month ago, and I screwed up and gave him a killer pup. Doing way better than the one I kept.
That sucks, but
yeah. First bear he puts him on, he shoots his bear and it jumps out, and the pup's right there chasing the bear down. I had all the rest of the dogs, and he's sending me the video as I'm sitting in Montana working, and all my dogs are here.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I'm glad I got to send you a good dog. At least you got a good one.
Yeah. So you're in Idaho, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm in Southwest Idaho.
Okay.
Down just outside of Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I've been down here for about 10 years now, born and raised in Washington, and moved out. Well, I coon hunted a little bit in Washington before I left.
Okay.
But I really didn't do much cat hunting or bear hunting back there just because I only had one or two dogs, so I was limited to what I could do. And being in Washington, the only thing that's legal there is raccoons.
Yeah. So how did you get started into hounds then?
So it actually wasn't even hounds that I started with. First time I ever went out with dogs was we went out to North Dakota to visit some family for Thanksgiving, and we went pheasant hunting.
Okay.
And went out with an uncle. He trained golden retrievers he had pointers. They're golden retriever, like pointing dogs. And he was hunting pheasants with them. I'd never seen anything like it. Always thought about going, but I just didn't know anybody. And so he took me when we were out there, and I was addicted from there with dogs. Yeah. I looked up every book after that. When we got home, I was like, when are we coming back out and coming hunting? So it originally started with birds before anything.
Now, how old were you when you did that?
I was probably 15.
Okay.
15 or 16. So I didn't even get my first hound until I was 17.
So you were old enough, though, that like you could actually put some effort into this and try and...
Yeah, kind of, but I grew up in foster care before
I
got into hounds and everything. So I grew up in foster care system when I was a kid, got adopted by my elementary school secretary. Her and her husband adopted me and my brother. And they didn't hunt. My dad, he was working all the time, taking care of the family, and mom took care of all the kids and all the foster kids.
Okay.
So we really didn't hunt at all growing up. Mm-hmm. I didn't know my biological side of the family, but I knew they were big into hunting. And so once I got a little bit older in foster care, I could visit family. So I got to visit with my grandparents, my grandpa, and he was big into hunting. And so he'd tell us stories about him running hounds and stuff in Washington when it was legal. And he used to run a bunch of red bones. So he'd tell us stories about it, but we just never seen anything of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't know anything about it. There was plenty of guys in our town that had hounds and ran bears and did stuff when it was legal, but once it became illegal, there just wasn't anybody around.
Yep. No, I know a guy in California that's when they banned bear hunting with hounds, he was like, I sold every one of my dogs because he's like, I knew I was going to get in trouble. Yeah. If
they outlawed it all over the country, it'd be pretty hard to stop. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you give it up. That's why after high school, the day I got my driver's license, this is the crazy thing about the hounds. So leading up to getting my driver's license, I was on Craigslist at that time. I think in the newspaper, I was looking for any hound I could find. So leading up, I was getting my driver's license that Thursday. Well, every Friday night, I go play indoor soccer in Portland. So we drive down there at like 11 o'clock at night, play indoor soccer in tournaments till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then come home, another hour drive. So I told my parents, I was like, oh yeah, I got my driver's license this week. Can I drive me and my friends down there for the first time by myself? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to leave a couple hours early. Well, they didn't know I'd been looking on Craigslist all week long leading up to that. And I finally found a hound pup in Portland, and it was a plot pit bull mix. I had no idea what I was looking for. No idea anything what I was getting into. So I show up middle of Portland, driving down there, never even like driven through Portland, and I just got my license. So I'm like going into the ghetto, show up at this little like duplex. I knock on the door, and this guy comes to the door and looks at me, and he's like, doesn't answer, doesn't say anything to me. He's just like, what are you here for? And I'm like, well, I think this is the house that has the hound pup. And the guy was like, yells back, and his wife comes out with this little puppy in her arms and just kind of puts it in my arms. And I was like, okay, is there anything I'm supposed to take? Like, what am I supposed to know about this pup? And the lady's like, well, he's a pit bull plot. And that's all I heard. So I took that dog to indoor soccer with me that night and showed up at like 3 a.m. at home and told mom and dad to come out to the garage, and there was a hound pup, and that's where it began.
What was their reaction?
They were pretty used to it. So growing up, I was the kid that came home with every animal that I could find. If there was a feed store that had chickens or ducks or anything, I was coming home with chickens and ducks and
Gotcha.
all the animals. So yeah, we lived out in the middle of nowhere, had about 50 acres, and then just forest all around us. So we could have animals.
Well, that's good.
So I had lots of chickens, had geese, dogs, cats. Didn't get any raccoons. I always wanted a raccoon, but I haven't had one yet as a pet.
That's funny. Well, at least it went better than it would have went in my house. That's for sure. My dad would have been like, no.
Yeah, they were like that for a while, but then it was like I was finally old enough I could afford to take care of them and feed them and stuff. And I was like, all right, now this puppy's here. And I came up with some dumb lie at the time. Oh, I think I told my parents I found the puppy on the street or something and took it home. It needed a home. And I didn't even tell them until I was probably in my mid-20s. I finally told them the truth about that pup. And they were like, we knew there was a different story to that puppy. There was no reason you just came home with the dog the first night you got your license.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's how it all began. And now that was just about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, probably, if not longer.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So and then I moved to Hawaii for a while. I got out, gave that pup to a buddy. Yeah. Moved to Hawaii after high school, just randomly dropped everything. Me and a buddy moved there and was a scuba dive instructor over there and just hung out and had a good time.
Did that pup ever make anything?
No, she's sitting. I actually just saw her for the first time in probably like 8 or 9 years. A month ago, I went back home to Washington and visited my buddy's dad where she's at. And she is probably the fattest hound I've ever seen. She still wanted to play fetch, though. She remembered me and everything. She went and grabbed her ball. He's like, she cannot play fetch. Do not throw that for her. She was way out of shape, but she made a good house dog for him.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was the start of it.
Sometimes that's all it takes, you know. I had somebody on here that they were hunting some little mixed up mutt, and that's what got them into it. So hey,
I used to use a blue heeler to train all my pups starting out. That's how it was. We always had blue heelers around. My grandparents were always big with the cow dogs, so yeah. We were about the gnarliest dogs that will get going on anything. It doesn't matter what it is.
Oh yeah. They're game that's for sure.
Oh, they are for sure. Running from them, and yeah. But now, so the hounds that we got a little bit of everything. I don't think we have any tapered dogs right now. Everything's pretty mixed up. We got some leopard hounds, a red tick, a leopard hound that's part leopard hound, part red tick, some plots.
That's what I like it when I, scrolling through Instagram and I see one of your videos or your pictures.
It's just some random
you
pack of dogs.
You have quite the rainbow of colors in that pack of dogs.
And the wooden dog box in the brand new Nissan Frontier. Yep.
I like it, like I said. And then plus you run a little bit of everything, so.
Dude, I've got a Shar Pei in the pack even. He ran a bear race this year too. He ran a couple miles. I was a little scared too. It was in an area we hadn't run before, and I was with my buddy Troy. And we turned dogs out on a hot rig on the road, and pack took off. Well, the house dog, the Shar Pei, he thinks he's a hound dog more than a Shar Pei. Well, he jumps out, and I usually put a collar on him, but he usually only goes about 20 yards and turns around and comes back. Well, dogs are gone for a while, booking it up the hill. We could hear him burning it and looking around and look, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see Smash anywhere. And they're like, oh, I think I saw him go up the hill. Well, sure enough, he's going up the hill with no tracking collar on. Dogs clear the hill, lose connection with them, and they go about 6 or 7 miles and pop a tree down in the bottom, and I'm just hoping he's still with them because it's about 100 degrees out, just about getting there. It's getting hot as hell. So we're going to pull dogs off, and I'm just hoping he's at the tree. Well, we go running down there. It was a long hike. He was at the tree with them, so I was pretty happy for him. He was happy as hell, but now he tries to go every time, so I got to make sure he's locked up anytime I let dogs go.
A daggum Shar Pei.
Yeah, just a little black Shar Pei puppy that we rescued from the Humane Society.
I must have missed that.
He's caught several coons by himself even too, and he ran up and on a bay up this year. I had a video. They had it bait up in the brush, and I had him with me, walking with me, and he sure enough went running in there trying to grab this bear, and I'm screaming and yelling. I had to stop the video. It was pretty bad. I was like, "Get out of there! I don't need the Shar Pei dying on me."
Yeah, for sure. That's a hard one to explain. No, the house dog.
He's a cool dog. It's crazy. I think every houndsman that I hunt with, they all got little house dogs. A good buddy of mine, Connor, he's got some corgis and a lab, and they've all been to bear trees and lion trees. And yeah, the lab, I've taken him in with bay-ups with me. He's walked in there with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's those house dogs. Those are the fun ones. Those are the stories that make it interesting. You never know what's going to happen at a tree.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but no, right now it's just bear hunting and coon hunting mainly. I work too much in the winter. It's just hard to get away for cats because go home or go to work in the dark and come home in the dark.
Gotcha. Well, before we get too far into this, Max, why don't you introduce yourself and kind of give us a little backstory on you and how you got into it? But
yeah, my name's Max Hess. 30 years old. I'm out of Eagle, Idaho, just outside of Boise, Southwest Idaho. Mm-hmm. I run big game dogs, bears, coons, and lions and bobcats when I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, the last couple of years, I've really hunted pretty hard with them. I put a lot of time on these dogs.
It seems like
it's finally showing, because there was quite a few years there where I had to start all over when I went to school, got back into college, and had to get out of dogs, and so started all over with 2 puppies and lived in an apartment at that time when I first had them. And driving them around with the Toyota and a coon hide and laying dregs every day after work, running around with the girlfriend and laying dregs every single day. We run up to the mountains and go lay dregs for those dogs. And then finally got invited out to go hunt with a buddy out in eastern Idaho who's got a really good pack of dogs, Connor Montgomery.
Okay.
And Montgomery's out there. Oh gosh, I couldn't thank them enough for what they've done for me. They've given me like GPSs. I didn't have anything to start out with. So they helped me out big time. I'd hunt with them almost every weekend, drive 4 hours one way and go hunt with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we caught a lot of game with them. So that helped my dogs get on a lot. It's a lot easier when you got older dogs that can show them what to do than just having puppies running around. Cause there's a lot of trash races when you just got puppies.
Yep. No, that makes a world of difference having some good help.
Yeah, we had a couple of good bay-ups. Those moose get pretty scary when you have to go in and grab puppies.
I'm sure. I've heard some horror stories with moose.
Yeah, they stink like a bear. I've never heard a rig like a moose rig. I would say that was the hardest rig I've ever heard my dogs make. I was like, the bear just crossed the road. They're rigging so hard. And nope, there was a moose. Dumb puppies.
That's something I've never experienced. I've never been anywhere where there was moose. So.
It wasn't fun. I walked in there. I thought it was a bear. All I could see was just a hump on it, and I radioed back to Troy on the thing, and I was like, oh, shoot, it looks like a grizzly. Get in here. Walk over the hill. It's a big bull moose.
Oh.
Yeah, with a bunch of puppies. We decided to listen to the puppies because they were doing good that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, them and the old dogs did not do good that day for us in the end. But
hey, what's life without a trash race?
Exactly. It wouldn't be fun if you just caught everything you turned out on.
Oh, for sure.
I've been pretty lucky though, knock on wood. I haven't had any skunks or porcupines. So I don't know if that was Connor's bad luck, because every time I go with him to council, we were catching porcupines, and I haven't caught any yet.
Now that's one thing I've never had an issue with, because I've never really hunted anywhere where there's porcupines. But skunks, we've caught a few.
Yeah, we had, between me, Connor, and Tim, one day, we had probably, I'd say, close to 20 dogs. And yeah, they caught 2 porcupines that day, and they decided to lay on one of them. The dogs had them in their belly. We had one of Tim's dogs one time was laying there, and we were pulling quills, and it was like, it was not even worth it. There were so many. The dog just wouldn't let go of it. Jeez. Some dogs just have way too much drive.
Oh, and that's my problem. I think mine would dive head first on it, so...
Yeah. No, that's why I like to start dogs out on raccoons and stuff. It's a little scary this year. I started with a bunch of pups during the bear season, and we had quite a few bears this year not go up the tree that wanted to kind of stay down on the ground and walk and bay up. Okay. So didn't have injuries or anything this year. I got pretty lucky with that, but it made for some interesting races, that's for sure. Yeah. This season was definitely by far my best season.
Good deal.
For bears. For bears, at least it was. I had a little bit better of an idea of this area of Idaho, better idea of my dogs.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you run more in the spring or in the fall?
Oh, shoot. I would probably say spring's pretty hard to run just because there's still quite a bit of snow. At least this year it was. Okay. Me and Troy, we were beginning of the season, before it even started, me and Troy told each other, we're like, we're not going to go in there and get stuck in the snow. We're going to wait till the snow melts out and not be those dummies that break the trail for everybody. Yeah, well, sure enough, we are sitting at home. Troy just moved to Idaho from Montana, wants to go catch some bears, and I'm just as hyped as he is to show him some bears. So he's got a winch on his Toyota. So I'd meet him out there almost every single day when season first opened up. I only got stuck one time this season, but it was pretty sketchy a couple of times. That's for sure. Yeah, we had a couple of races where we'd come around corners and someone's got a truck buried in the snow in the road, so we can't get around them. Dogs are 4 miles away walking a big one. So yanking trucks out of the ditches and trying to go around and not get stuck ourselves. It was a fun spring. We caught a lot of bears in the spring, but I like the fall personally.
Okay.
And I can actually run. This year, it kind of cut us short. I was going for 100 bears this year with the dogs and definitely got cut short of that just because all the fires we had here this year.
Yeah.
There was 4 fires within a couple miles of each other right here.
Oh,
they were all just lined up. Yeah, it was bad.
See, that's something
all of our area
never had to deal with.
Shut down. Yeah, forest fires, you usually deal with them every year here. And the valley that we're in is like a big fishbowl. So when the smoke comes here and there's no wind or whatever, it just kind of sits here and settles. So it kind of makes for harder bear hunting that time of year just because of the smoke and the heat and the forest being shut down. But when it's good and there is no fires, it's pretty good hunting.
Good deal.
Yeah. No, the fires are just now getting contained as our season's ending. They were talking about opening up the area where I do hunt, but yeah, this next weekend's the last weekend for that. So just coons and cats for now.
Yeah. How long does your coon season go?
All year.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So yeah, I would probably say I'm probably one of the biggest coon hunters around here. I don't know many guys that really coon hunt around Idaho. Everybody kind of does it every once in a while for fun and stuff, but when I was hunting 5-6 nights a week just for raccoons, just to get dogs on as much game as I could. And I feel like it helped a lot, especially with the treeing. I had those leopard hounds that I got. They're not the hardest tree dogs.
Okay.
And so when you put them on a bunch of coons at night when they can't see anything and they've got to just go off their nose and stuff, it's pretty nice when they finally click.
Yeah.
Because they turn into some good locate dogs, that's for sure.
Well, since you brought up your leopard dogs, let's dive into them because I'm a leopard guy. So
yeah, for sure.
How are your leopards bred?
So the guy, I get all of my leopard hounds from a buddy of mine down in Utah. His name's Craig, and I've never actually met Craig. I talked to him through a buddy. His name's Craig Tykert, and he's down there in Huracan, Utah, way down there by like Arizona, that area. So I met his buddy in eastern Idaho named Zach Finley, and Zach had some leopard hounds with him when he came out with us one time. And I was like, dang, those are some cool looking dogs. I've never seen anything like it. Well, then he ended up having some pups from Craig and was like, hey, I got 2 males. You want one? I was like, shoot, I'll take one for sure. Weirdest dogs I've ever had in my life. They are not like a normal hound at all. Oh. If you got any like hard hand on them or anything, you discipline them too hard at all, they pretty much just shut down on you and are done. But if you don't, and you're the nicest person to them, they'll do anything for you. That is for sure. Yeah, Jigs. So I've got a male and a female that are litter mates. I got the male first, and that's my main dog. That's Jigs. And so they've got their leopard plot cross is what they are. And I think they've got some blue tick down there also.
Gotcha.
Everything around here is just mixed up, but I just call them leopard hounds. That's the main portion.
That's what they look like, yeah.
Yeah. And so Craig said he brought, I think it was some dogs from back east, back down to Utah. I think they were jughead bred. Okay. And then the plots were, gosh, I don't even remember what they were. But he said he brought a male plot down also, and that's what Greg Anderson blood is what he told me. Okay. Is what the plot line was. And so he crossed those and crossed them into some blue ticks, and yeah, that's what he runs down there on bears and cats, and he does pretty good on that. Nice. He's not into social media or any of that stuff, so when people are always like, oh, where'd you get him from? I'm like, a guy named Craig in Utah. I got his phone number, and that's it. Don't know the guy. But yeah, we talk to each other pretty much every day. He just sent me a picture of a litter of puppies he's got on the ground, and he's like, sent me another litter, or he sent me 2 pups last month. Nice. So I've got 3 dogs out of his line, and they're all doing pretty good for me right now.
Nice. Now I have a leopard plot cross too, and he's my best dog. So yeah, everyone swears he's Redbone.
Yeah, he's a red bone. That's how it is. We got some plots out here that my buddy Connor runs that everybody's like, oh, they look like red bones just because they're red, but they're plots. They definitely don't look like the red bone to me.
Yep.
But yeah, these leopard hounds, they're definitely a thing. Everybody sees them. They're like, what kind of dog is that? You definitely get questions when you pull up and somebody comes walking up to your box.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And now I've got the Catahoulas also. I got a couple Catahoula hound crosses.
Okay.
And I had one previously. 3 years ago, I had one. His name was Claw, and he was a good dog. I had him till he was like 6 months old, and then he had a seizure one time while we were out hunting, passed away. So that breeder ended up not doing that cross ever again, just because it's kind of prone in the Catahoulas is the seizures and stuff. So he went a different line, and finally, about 3 years later, he messaged me and was like, I got a couple pups that'll replace that one if you want them for free. And so me and a buddy went down there and got a couple of them from him.
Cool. Yeah, I think I remember, because I think that's the first leopard colored dog I saw you had.
Yep.
And we got talking about it, and then you were like, it's actually half Catahoula or something like that. So
yeah, I didn't know anything about those dogs at all. Yeah, it was a Catahoula hounds is what those ones are.
Yeah. Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
So I kind of got them. They were supposed to be, or at least the one I had before, at like couple months old, he was baying up coons in cages. Like, he was not afraid of anything. So after getting on a couple of these bay ups this year with some dogs and realizing what dogs are gritty in the pack and which ones aren't, I kind of had to add a little bit more grit to the pack. That way those big bears that get chased every weekend by everybody will decide to go up a tree and not walk us into no man's land.
For sure.
I hunt in an area that it's pretty common to run into guys every day while you're up there hunting. There's probably 5 to 10 guys that hunt the same unit and area that I'm in.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty common going to a bear tree and there's a couple other dogs there with your dogs.
Yeah.
You just kind of get used to it.
That's kind of the way it is in West Virginia and Virginia where I've hunted.
You guys out there though, don't you guys all run in like some big groups and stuff when you're hunting areas?
There are some. Like there's a couple big leases. A lot of the leases they run together.
Oh, okay. That's how you hunt, is on the leases.
But then there's a lot of national forest too, and
okay.
Like I hunted with Alex, the guy that has the Leicas. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
I've been seeing a lot more videos of those. I think I just saw on YouTube. Kirk posted a video the other day.
Yep.
And
Kirk got a pup from him.
After seeing those, I'm like, that's what I needed, not the Catahoulas. The Catahoulas are vet bills. Those Leicas look like they can just annoy the bear in the face and just get it to the point where it's just annoyed and wants to go up a tree.
Yeah, like
I've heard from people that they like to get like in front of the bear instead of like following the bear like a lot of hounds.
Yep.
They'll get in front of it instead and stop it.
That's kind of what I've heard from Alex, and I've only hunted with him one time, and they were treed long before we ever got there. So we never got to see any of the dog work, the bear.
They actually were his treeing.
Yeah, they were treeing.
Were they? Like they actually bark when they're on the tree and get up on the tree like a hound?
Yeah, they tree.
Oh, okay.
But we had
they're pretty cool looking. I saw that video.
We had, I don't know, probably 8 hounds come to us after the bear was already shot and dead. And then we're like, we don't even have enough leashes. Like, we're trying to leash all these hounds back.
I've had to use belts. I've had to use everything. I've had to use my lanyard on my handheld to tie a dog back.
Yeah, because we went into the woods with only a couple dogs, so it was like.
Yeah, I've had that. Where I'm hunting, just because there's a lot of bears. There's a ton of bears in the area I hunt, but there's a ton of guys. So a lot of times we'll end up running a race that somebody already ran that morning and end up at a tree, and the bear's been there all morning. That's pretty common. Mm-hmm. Or be at a tree and heading out, and all of a sudden you hear them rig up on the road behind where you started it, and all of a sudden here comes some dogs coming down. You're like, well, we might as well just wait. They're coming down also. So,
yeah.
But. Yeah,
That's
there's
crazy.
a lot of that there, that's for sure. So the way you guys are bear hunting, are you guys running off of baits out there? Or are you guys rigging or free casting, or how do you guys do that?
So there's no baits allowed in West Virginia or Virginia. So it's all free cast or rigging.
Oh, okay. See, I hear they can bait, and there's a ton of people that bait. So I don't ever have to. There's enough people because we're so close to town that everybody baits, and it's supposed to be you're supposed to be limited to the distance off the road. So 200 yards off the road, I think, is what it is that they have to bait on, which is not very far off the road, especially for hounds.
Yeah.
So I've got buddies that they just spot and stock hunt, and they'll set baits. And all right, if they've got a bear or something they want to go chase after and get caught, then they'll call me. But I don't ever bait anymore. It's just too much time consuming, and getting bait all filled and then hiking in there every day and filling them all and checking cameras.
Yeah.
Everything up here is just pretty much rigging or free casting.
There you go. Now I went to Michigan once, and they hunted off of baits, and it's nice.
Oh, did they?
In the fact
it's
that
fun going up to the camera. It's like a mystery on what you're going to see. Because I've done it a couple of times with the buddies over in Eastern Idaho and stuff, and checking cameras. All right, we can pick and choose what bear we want to go run.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it has its advantages, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Well, then I just saw that video last night. What is it, Lionheart or whatever that just came out? That was a pretty good video.
That is an awesome video.
Sent that to a bunch of people that have no idea about hounds at all, but see all my videos and are interested. So hopefully that made a good impression.
Yeah, no, they did a great job. I mean, Robbie and Matt and Adam.
Yeah, they started that. I wonder when they started that video, because it looked like it took time over the winters.
Oh, it was that
video going for a while.
Produced, I think, probably 3 years ago. Because it's been together, I know, for over a year. Because Blood Origins has done some.
Or Blood Origin, that's what it is.
Has done some film tours and shown that, in theaters, like small theaters, to live audiences.
Yeah.
A couple places.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Because I know I was trying to get somewhere out here, and we just never got it lined up.
I was out in Bozeman working, and they premiered it in Bozeman, and I got stuck at work. I was out there building cabins and stuff, and ended up getting stuck. I was going to go to the premiere out there and watch it. Mm-hmm. That would have been sweet. But we just watched it last night on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good video.
I watched it today on my lunch break. I was like, I need to sit and, got tied up last night and fell asleep early. And so I was like, man, I meant to watch it last night and fell asleep. And so I'm like, I'm watching it today. I'm not waiting anymore.
Yeah, I made sure I was fully awake because I've been waiting for this video to come out. So when it finally came out, I'm going to be wide awake. We're watching this and we're going to enjoy it.
Exactly.
But yeah, that came out. So hopefully that helps out and gets a bunch of people that see hound hunting for what it really is and not a barbaric sport.
Yeah, and especially with Colorado and everything.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah, I've got family and stuff that when I was first getting into hound hunting pretty big and posting videos and stuff, and some of the family I had that doesn't hunt was like, it's kind of barbaric forcing an animal to hunt and making it chase another animal and stuff. So they've seen the other side of it and seen it since then. It's been years, but that video definitely helped a lot. It definitely shed some light on what it actually is and not this barbaric sport where we're out to just kill everything.
Yeah.
This year, between me and Troy caught, I think, 100 bears or something. Mm-hmm. I caught probably over 60, and I think between the two of us, he killed one bear, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you can catch a lot of bears and not have to kill bears to make dogs.
Oh, for sure.
Troy's got a pretty good pack of dogs. He caught a couple bears before moving out here, and then moved out here and catching 100 bears his first season. That's pretty impressive.
Exactly. No, and that's even with coon hunting. Most people ask me, what do I do with coons? I'm like, I don't kill that many.
Yeah,
I might kill 10 or 12 a year.
Yeah.
They're not worth anything. So the places I do kill them are farms that the farmers ask me to kill them. And they're like,
yeah.
And every now and again, they want to see a coon. So,
yeah. When I had young dogs and was coon hunting a ton, it was like, I thought you had to take coons out and show dogs game and stuff like that to make good dogs. And then it was like, I was seeing these other guys that weren't taking anything and just leaving everything they treat, and they had the best dogs.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's an eye opener. You don't need to take game.
No. And, places like the Midwest that are just overloaded, I understand.
Yeah, I've seen those. They show cabins and stuff just pack loaded full of coons under the floorboards and stuff, and it's like, they need help taking those coons out.
Exactly. That's different, but I'm not overrun with them. So
no, I'm not either. I have to go look for them or keep them safe where I do coon hunt, or I don't have any.
Yeah.
There's not many coons here in Idaho. There's some, but there's just, especially where I'm at here near the city and stuff. I'm limited to so much ground for coon hunting that I can go coon hunt and not end up in somebody's farm or end up in somebody's backyard.
Well, that's our problem. Is all the coon that we do have typically live in the backyards.
Oh yeah,
Eating cat food and trash
instead
of living in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's kind of how it is for there's a lot of the areas that we run bears and cats in, that a lot of cabins and stuff. So a lot of private property, and Idaho they're pretty strict on their trespassing rules. I think it's a misdemeanor if you get caught trespassing the first time. And I think after the second time is a felony.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're pretty strict on that. And so you gotta have Onyx downloaded. You gotta know where all the property lines are at. You gotta know everybody's phone number just in case your dogs end up on the property to get your dog back. So that was a pretty big problem with me first starting out, because it was like I had to read the GPS. I had to figure out all that stuff. I was really bad with the GPS to begin with. I was like, could not find the dogs to save my life. Connor would go crazy with me. He's like, where are the dogs at? And I'm like, I have no idea. But yeah, making sure dogs are where they need to be and not in somebody's backyard was the biggest thing.
If you couldn't read the GPS, how many times did you get lost?
All the time. Well, I didn't go very far. When I was coon hunting, I had like one specific trail that I stayed on for the longest time and did not wander from that area. It took me a while before I was really comfortable to like take off and just go into a new area.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, you know what? Driving down the highway, that looks like a good spot to go chase some raccoons. Look on Onyx and save the spot. All right, I got a free weekend. We're going to go hit that spot up. Pray it's not full of porcupines or skunks.
Exactly.
It's been pretty good so far. We've been pretty lucky to find some good spots around here.
Good deal.
Good spots and a lot of good people around here, that's for sure.
How long have you been where you're at?
I've been in this area for just over 10 years now.
Okay. I thought that's what you said.
10 years and counting. We'll see how much longer.
What made you move there?
So before I moved out here, I was living in Hawaii, and my parents had moved out here. My dad's from Idaho. My mom's from Minnesota. So they moved out here to get closer to the grandkids, be closer to the grandkids. My older brothers live out here.
Gotcha.
And so I followed them out here.
Okay. Came
out here a couple of times, visited them on Christmas time, and I was like, I don't want to go back to Hawaii. I don't want to go to Idaho. People thought I was crazy because I lived in Maui and worked on one of the nicest beaches in the world in Maui. And I thought it was dumb to live in Hawaii. I wanted to be in Idaho. The mountains are here. I could get back into dogs. So yeah, I moved back, had one dog for a couple of years, a little walker dog, and just coon hunted him and cat hunted him. Just me and him. I was a broke, fresh out of high school kid, driving a minivan, hunting out of a minivan.
There you go. Hey, whatever gets you to the woods.
A dog crate in a minivan. The stories that van could tell.
Exactly.
We've had, coon hunting out of there. Stinky skunk dogs. I had one night where that dog caught a skunk, got sprayed pretty good. It was probably December. It's probably negative out. It was pretty cold. I know that. I'm driving, the windows down in the van, and I got pulled over for a taillight being out. The cop comes walking up to my door, didn't even get 5 feet from the door, and he stopped and said, like, I think you might have hit a skunk. I said, nah, I got a dog in here that got sprayed by a skunk.
That cop is regretting that.
Oh, he didn't even come up to the door. He said, you have a good night. It sounds like it's already been bad enough, and let me go. So that dog got, thrown in the garage that night and then hosed off out in the front yard the next day.
Yep. That's my biggest fear with my hunting out of my Subaru.
Yeah, when you get one inside the car, it's not fun. Or they touch you when they come running off the hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, my worst skunk experiences, I had a dog that would bait a skunk, and then he was I don't know if he was just too dumb, just not gritty enough, whatever. Had wooled it pretty good, but just wouldn't kill it.
Yeah.
And so it was still alive, but then he wouldn't leave it alone. And this is...
He just kept fooling with it and getting sprayed.
Yeah, and I didn't have a shot collar on the dog or any way to correct him. So I had to wade into this mess. I shot the skunk just so I didn't get sprayed.
Yeah.
To get him, and then had to fight him for it. Man, it was a mess. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
that's pretty funny. I sold some collars one time on Facebook or another houndsman in Oregon. I warned them. I was like, they all kind of, when they get wet, they all kind of get a little skunky smell on them. And he's like, if they didn't have a little skunky smell on them, then you weren't hunting hard enough. And I was like, that's probably true, especially with puppies. That's for sure. Yeah, we've been pretty lucky the last couple of years here. No skunks or porcupines. I've seen them when I'm driving out, but I haven't seen them while I'm in there, thankfully.
Knock on wood, everything I have right now has never been sprayed, but it's only a matter of time.
It is. It'll happen. That's for sure. Yeah. So what season is it for you guys right now then? Is it beginning of bear season?
So coon season in PA is about to come in another month. But we can run coon. We can run dogs year round, but actual kill season comes in.
Oh, so you guys actually have a take season for raccoon.
Yes.
Okay, so here they're considered just a varmint. So like a coyote, a skunk, a raccoon.
Skunks, possums, and coyotes and groundhogs are the only things that are open year round.
Oh, okay.
So coon season will come in middle of October and it goes out the middle of February. But like I said, we can run year round. And then if I run down to West Virginia, I can run bear now. And then Virginia opened in like August for training.
Yeah.
And then both Virginia and West Virginia's bear season, there's some early seasons that come in. September, October, there's some youth days and stuff. But basically the bulk of season comes in December.
Okay.
So
you're more, do you do a lot of the competition coon hunts in with your hounds?
I don't. Now I go to my local coon hunters club. We have 4 events a year. Usually at every one of those. And I've been to some of the big events. I was just at Autumn Oaks. I'm
going to it next year for sure.
Well, then I'll probably
I either want to go there to Autumn Oaks or I want to go to that big game trials out in Virginia, isn't it? Or somewhere over on the East Coast.
Yeah.
There's a couple of trials out there I want to go to at least once just to see them before hound hunt never gets shut down or if that's ever a possibility in our future here in this country. No, I just want to go to Autumn Oaks or something.
Yeah, no, and it's a fun event to go to. It's cool to see.
We just don't have anything like hound related like that around here at all. Like we don't have any competition hunts. We got some hound clubs here in town and they do water trials like twice a year and field trials twice a year, but that's about it. It's just kind of to support the local houndsmen and stuff, but it's nothing like what you guys have out there. You guys have all the competition hunts, all the black and tan days, walker days, all those days. I'm like, I'll just take a hound dog day out here.
Well, all it takes is you got to orchestrate it. You got to.
I know. I just don't know anything about like building the club up or anything like that. There's some guys out here that have talked about doing some competition hunts, but I don't think there's enough guys with paper dogs. Yeah. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the guys out here at least are papers, don't catch a game. It's the dog. So everybody kind of just breeds the best of the best. And most of them don't have papers.
Yeah. That makes it hard. Anything organized to you like that, but hey, you guys, even like we have a buddy hunt in my coon hunters club every year, and it's not a competition, but it could easily be one if we wanted it to be. You could follow the same rules. You could basically do everything. You throw $10 in a pot and follow the same rule set. So
yeah, that would be fun to do. Yeah, we've got, so out here for our bear season, I usually try and take at least 1 or 2 kids out at the beginning of our bear season. Mm-hmm. There's certain units that open up before the rest of them that are draw tags, but they have kids tags for them. So I'll usually go on Facebook or something, make a post. Anybody got a kid that's never killed a bear or never hunted with hounds? And me and Connor the last couple of years have taken several kids out and showed them their first bears and gotten them some nice bears with the dogs. So
there you go.
It helps us get in the woods early, and we get to show some kids some bears and show them some hound dogs and show them the fun of it.
Exactly.
So
no,
yeah,
awesome.
more guys out here need to do that. That's the biggest thing, is that the hound world is kind of hush hush. Everybody kind of keeps it to themselves because they don't want other people out there hunting with them or hunting their areas. But at the same time, we got to speak up and make it noticeable that we care about what we're doing right now, and this is our way of life.
Exactly.
I couldn't imagine not running hounds.
We just need to be good stewards of it and be good advocates of it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So.
Yeah, I definitely played a part in it. Social media is the biggest thing on the hound world, I feel like. That kind of hurt it, but it also made it a good thing.
Yeah, it can be used either way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, not all guys that run hounds are bad. There's a lot of good guys out there.
Oh, for sure.
That's why that video coming out was a good thing, because a lot of the videos out here are guys poaching or guys doing illegal stuff with hounds, and that was the big thing for a while on social media around here on the news.
Yeah.
And yeah, this video needed to come out to show that it's not like that. It's not 20 dogs tearing something to pieces.
Yep. No, I actually messaged somebody, I don't know, earlier this year, and I'm like, it was a bay up. Some dogs were putting some teeth on game, and I was just like, man, that's not helping us. And he's like, oh, it's showing us it's showing people what it's really like. And I'm like,
yeah, hardly ever like that.
we all as houndsmen, we all know what it looks like when a bay up happens and dogs are grabbing something. But you don't need to put that out there. That doesn't portray what we do in a good light. You know, it's not like that every time. Yes, does it happen?
It's just like you at work. You're not going to post videos of you screwing up at work and then post it on there and be like, yeah, that's what it's like every day at work for me.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. I'm like, you ain't going to post the dumb stuff there. Why would you post that?
Yeah.
And I've been dumb. I was young and dumb and big into the hounds at the beginning and all hyped up everything I caught and wanting to post everything. And I had an older buddy that actually, he lived in the same town, grew up in the same town I was in, and helped me out quite a bit. And his name's him. And yeah, he was like, you don't want to post that video. It's just going to look bad on you down the line. People are going to think of you as being that type of guy that posts that. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it off.
Yep. No, I posted something early on, and luckily my mentor, Mike, same thing. He called me up and was like, take that down.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He's like, don't post that, take that down. I was like, all right, I'll take it off. I was too excited for my dogs and all hyped up just in the moment, and it got carried away and I posted it. But
exactly. And that's what it takes is, we got to police our own.
And you see a lot of guys comment on there and be like, hey, you should just probably not post this. And most of the guys are like, yeah, I'll take it down or whatever. Every once in a while there's a bad one out there that's like, nope, I'm keeping it up.
Exactly. Stone Creek Hound Supply, a family-operated business, boasts over 50 years of involvement in hounds. For over 2 decades, they've been dedicated to supplying high-quality hound gear. Their reputation is founded on unparalleled quality and exceptional customer service. Crafted from U.S. source materials, Stone Creek clothing is meticulously manufactured right here in Pennsylvania. Through their commitment to excellence, many other customers have become lifelong friends. Use the code TreeTalkinTime15 to save on all your purchases.
How many dogs are you running this year then?
I've got 2 dogs this year. I actually slimmed down this past spring. Had a pup that wasn't really making it, and she just wasn't interested in coon. I sent her back to the breeder. He was going to try her on bear. I haven't heard back from him about that, so I don't know. But then,
so what do you have now? Leopard hounds, or?
I got a leopard that's about to be a year old. That last spring I hunted her, and she really wasn't that interested. Had a lot of puppy in her still. I really haven't messed with her too much since last spring. And then I've got my 5-year-old half plot, half leopard.
Oh, okay.
So.
And what line of leopard is he?
His mom came from a guy in West Virginia named Brandon Thompson, Glade Creek Leopards. And then.
I think I follow them on Facebook or something. I follow so many guys on social media for the hounds.
Possibly. And then the female that I have is a granddaughter of his mom. So. I bred her to a leopard after the accidental plot cross. And so,
that was an accidental cross that you had.
That was an accident.
I think that's how mine came of. I think they were an accident at a tree, and now this dog's turned out to be an amazing dog.
Oh, mine was in the kennel. My male plot ripped a hole in the fence.
Oh, did he?
So.
Yeah, I think we got 10 hounds right now, 2 Shar Peis. And then on top of that, where I keep my hounds at a buddy's house, he's got 15 wire herd pointers that I take care of also.
Holy smokes.
So he's got a full kennel. He was one of the original wire herd pointer breeders out here in Boise. He brought his dogs out from Czechoslovakia and spent a lot of time on those. And
wow.
Kind of made a deal with him. He lives just up above me on the hill. Made a deal with him. I'll take care of his dogs if I can keep all my hounds there. So he's got the kennel license and all the kennels that I could ask for.
There you go.
He's just getting up there in age. That's the only downside.
Yep. Hey, at least you found a situation that works for both of you.
Yeah, I've been helping him and he's helping me. It's a pretty good setup. His house is probably 2 minutes away up on the hill.
Cool.
it's not too bad. I got a good setup here.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about moving either out to Wyoming or possibly even Montana.
Okay.
And try something new. I don't know yet. There ain't no bear season in Wyoming. That's the only downfall.
That's what I was just about to say. You really gonna give up that?
Season. Yeah, that cat season seems to close early too over there on that quota system they got.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be leaving Idaho.
It's getting too much to be a big city over here. At least I might have to go, if anything, eastern Idaho.
Just move further away from the city, but
yeah, I'm right in the heart of it.
I get it. Now, I'm not too far from Philadelphia or Baltimore, and both cities keep creeping out towards us, so I get it.
Yeah, no, it's Boise is definitely a big city, but luckily we live right at the base of the foothills, and then the mountains and rivers, everything are right here. I go one direction, go lion hunt an hour one direction, bear hunt an hour the other direction, and coon hunt an hour the other direction from those two. So where I bear hunt's just bears, where I coon hunt just coons, and cat hunt's just cats. Everything's spread out.
But hey, if it works for you.
It's a little bit of everything here. We got some high desert, we got the mountains, we got the rivers.
Yeah.
So we can pick and choose on what terrain we really want to hunt, what weekend. We can go to the desert and go run a lion, or we can go to the mountains and run a bear.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what's kept me here, dealing with the city and everything. I'm like, all right, it ain't so bad when I got all that in my back door.
Yeah. Well, got any good stories for us?
Shoot. Trying to think of some good ones I had this year. Just that moose bay up was a fun one. I think Troy might even have it on video where I'm radioing them back at the truck, and I'm like, grab a gun, it's a grizzly. I came over the hill, and all I saw was a big giant hump through the brush, and there was probably 15 young dogs there baying this sucker up. Yeah. I was like, it's a grizzly, come run over the hill. And I'm like, nope, it's a moose, come in and help me. Moose. Luckily, moose are slow. I can see why they get killed by the wolves so quickly. Those suckers are just slow, and they just stand there. I'm like, okay, run away. I have all the dogs in the dog box, and he's just standing there still and not trying to run at all.
From what I heard, bull moose aren't the worst. It's the cows, from what I heard.
Okay, we had a bull moose, so maybe we got lucky.
I don't know. This is just a friend of mine in northern Idaho. He told me that
I've
watch
been
out for a cow.
Before. Yeah, I got chased by a moose in Alaska, so I commercial fished most of my life in Alaska. Up there, so that's why I didn't really get into bear hunting until recently. Is because every summer I was in Alaska fishing for salmon, gill netting. So that's how I got the cat track kennel and just cat hunting and coon hunting. That was the only time I was even home. So I'd go up there in Alaska and spend 3 months on a fishing boat all summer and commercial fish for salmon, and then come home. And by that time, bear season's over.
You've had quite the adventurous life.
Yeah, commercial fish in Alaska. I started doing that when I was 14. Went almost every summer after that until I was probably 26, 27.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I've run into moose quite a bit up there. I was young and dumb, doing dumb stuff. Yeah. It might have just been the ADHD, I think, is just leading me down the wrong path. That's what it's got to be. That's why I run dogs. I can't do anything. Elk and deer hunting's too quiet. I can't sit there all day.
I'm right there with
you. Be running and being loud and chasing some loud hound dogs is the best fit for me.
Exactly.
But, yeah. A lot of traveling, that's for sure. So now that I got the hounds, a little bit harder to go to Alaska and do that type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. We went back to the coast for the first time last month in like 7 years, and I don't know, that coastline was looking pretty nice living there again. There's some good cat hunting down there in Oregon.
Yeah.
Go run some cats and some fox. That'd be a little bit different.
Yep.
Those gray fox down there in Oregon are just like cats. They tree.
Yeah.
Climb up on the top of a tree just like a bobcat. I'd never seen it before, but I think I might make a trip down there this year. I got a couple of buddies that live down there that do that.
I've been meaning to make it out there. I've had a standing invite for, I don't know, about 4 years.
Shoot, you got an invite to come out here and run bears and coons whenever you want. I don't do much cat hunting anymore, but yeah, next spring I'll be living hopefully right down the road from where I hunt. We're looking at a house out there and looking at some property. So
cool.
Besides these fires, it's nice out there. The fires were bad this year. They're way worse than normal.
That's rough, that's for sure.
Yeah. The Montana, Idaho, Oregon, Wyoming, California, everything was on fire.
Yeah. Now, I've talked to a couple people from around that area, and different guys said fires were bad this year.
Yeah, there was a family that went back into their cabin or whatever, and they posted some pictures recently that dead bears and stuff all over. Bears that I guarantee I probably caught at some point this summer that didn't make it out of there. They're all toast.
Man, that's rough.
Elk, cows, everything. It popped up quick and then joined up with another fire, and it was too quick for people to get their cows and stuff and all the animals out of there. But they got it out, luckily, or it's at least contained for the majority of the part.
Yeah.
It's not smoky anymore.
That's rough for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm going to have to make it out there, though, and come out to Autumn Oaks next year and meet you guys. And shoot, I might have to figure out how to haul a dog out there, pay a dog hauler to haul one out there and meet me. Go do some competition coon hunting with you guys with my not paper dogs.
You just have to, you could register as an X-bred.
As a what?
X-bred.
Oh, okay, so you can compete against paper dogs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. I thought everything that competed in those competitions was papered, and you had to have papers for it to compete.
No, you could just register as an X-bred.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot. Now I definitely have to bring a dog out. I don't know if I have any dogs that can keep up with those guys' dogs, but I'll try.
Well, if you do, let me know. We'll have a good time. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You guys got any field trials or anything where you guys are at? Like any big ones?
No, there's nothing. Like, so I kind of live on the eastern side of PA, and there's not a lot of coon hunters out here, so there's nothing big around here. Like, we have a night hunt. If we draw 12 to 16 dogs, like, we're doing real good.
Yeah.
So that's about the biggest we get now. Like I said, I can drive a couple hours and be at much bigger things, but like there's an event about 3.5 hours from south of me every spring I try to get down to, and it usually draws probably, trying to think of a number, there's probably 50 people and at least 75 to 100 dogs there. You know,
that's a pretty good number of dogs. I couldn't believe I just saw somebody at one of those coon hunts won a truck.
Oh yeah,
those truck hunts, that's crazy. You can win a truck while coon hunting. I'm doing it wrong out here. Yeah, we definitely don't have anything like that out here. That's for sure.
Yep. No, you can win $100,000. You know.
Wow.
On a single coon hunt. I mean,
it's crazy how certain states the hound hunting is such a big deal and is such a big of the community and stuff, and not in fear of losing their hound hunting rights. But you look at Colorado right now, or even I was talking to Patrick out there in South Dakota. They're trying to fight for that hound season coming up. Yep. So definitely there's a lot of voting and stuff coming up that everybody needs to take part in, because it might not be in your state right now, but it will be there. And you ain't helping guys out in other states, and they notice that, they probably ain't going to help you out when it comes to your state.
No, I know we had a little bit of an issue earlier this spring, and I know Patrick was sharing it, and Patrick was like, "Hey, who do I got to call or email or whatever?" So, yeah,
he fights like no other, even for other states that he doesn't even live in. He's in Wyoming fighting for South Dakota, fighting for Montana, fighting all over for it.
Yep.
I talked to him quite a bit because he drew a Idaho tag to come out here, so he was out here hunting near me, and I've run into him a couple of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know he was telling me about that. South Dakota, they're trying to open it up in the national forest so they can actually have a cat season, because right now it's just spot and stock hunters, and a lot of those guys are just taking females and kittens and stuff, and that population down there is taking a beating. So trying to fight for that. So I think that's open right now actually for the voting. I told him to send me that stuff later, so share that and get guys helping South Dakota out, because I know they helped out Montana, and they probably helped out other states that needed it.
Yep, exactly.
So
we can take it. We got to fight to preserve it, but at the same point, you got to fight and try to get it where we can, get a foothold.
Yeah, yep. And it's same thing. I've got buddies that they don't run hounds; they just elk or deer hunt or duck hunt and stuff. And I sent it to all of them, sent all those videos to them, and anybody you can send it to that'll get online and put in a word for it, it's going to be helpful.
For sure.
That or we're going to lose it. That's for sure.
Yep. And the more places we have it, the better.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
No, that's for sure. I couldn't imagine my life without the hounds. That's for sure. All the people I've met, all the places I've been.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, "Oh, how'd you meet him?" I'm like, sold him a hound, or I met him on a mountain one time at a lion. I was sitting on a lion track, and this guy and his dad came pulling up, and 10 years later, we're still friends now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'd be at work and seeing people come in, and they're like, "How do you know that guy?" I'm like, running dogs. Took him on a bear hunt one time, and he saw me.
Yep. No, I'm right there with you. Most of my friends and the people I talk to, it's all through hounds. Like, I've got some good buddies I went to high school with. I rarely see them, rarely talk to them.
Yeah, the only time they ever talk to me is when they want to go on a bear hunt or a lion hunt, and that's it. Dead serious. Guys from high school and everybody, I haven't talked to them in 10 plus years, and they see my pictures or something, see me on social media all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden I get a message out of the blue. "Hey, how you been, dude? Oh, great. Love to go on a bear hunt sometime or get my kid out." I'm like, I haven't talked to you in 10 years. I don't even think we were friends in high school. But
that's funny.
Yeah, social media definitely spread that. I've got friends in Australia. I've got guys all over the world that I talk to just about hounds. Yep. Nothing else. They're like, I have people ask me, like, "How do you know them, or do you know anything about them?" Like, I know their dog names. Exactly. I know their dog's probably better than anything else in their family.
Yep.
Yeah, you get to know people pretty well and know who their dogs are just by that.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty funny. You know their dog names more than their name. Well, shoot. I don't know. I don't have much more stories to go.
Okay.
There.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, man. I'm excited to talk about dogs with you for sure. We'll have to talk again.
Yeah. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.